Hi everyone, welcome to another Train Direct video. It's been a long time since we've been in this sort of environment where it's going to be me and then it's going to be over to the bench. Originally my channel was designed as a terrain building channel to help give advice and to take you through tutorials and stuff like that. Over the past few months I've been spiralling off on a different quest. And although I've enjoyed my quest and sort of contributing with other sort of community projects and competitions and stuff, I've always had this in the background all the time. So a lot of them are all done and finished, and there's a couple of other things that I'm still working on in the background, and this is going to be the start of the Mordheim project. And with the Mordheim project, it's going to be a long series of videos, so please be aware of that. Some videos are going to be longer than others. And firstly, I'm going to take you through the materials. Actually, I should really take you through the tools. So what I'll do is, after filming all this lot, I'll film another part about tools that I'll probably show before this video, and then I'll upload this video, and then we'll go to about the materials themselves. Then we're going to start to do a scratch build right from the very beginning, and we're going to build a fantasy based house. This can be used for Mordheim, Warhammer, any sort of the fantasy stuff like Malifaux, other sort of region, that sort of region of gaming. So it could even just be a display piece that you want to stick in a cabinet and have loads of miniatures around it or something. Have a go with it, it's fun. You don't have to copy me exactly. You can copy me step by step if you want. Have some fun with it. See what you can do, see what you can come up with. Any comments or anything like that is always welcome. Any criticism, as long as it's constructive criticism, leave it down in the comments. Quite happy to take that. But overall, I'm trying to make a really nice looking piece of terrain set for a really like an outstanding terrain board that I'm actually planning to build. It's going to be a long one, guys. The whole series is going to be a long one, so I'm going to add a playlist into the YouTube channel, and I'm just going to keep adding videos as they come along. So, right, without further ado, let's go and have a look on the bench. It's been a long time since I've said that. Let's go and have a look over on the bench. Hello guys, well, welcome to the bench, and basically we're going to go over materials. Right, sorry if this gets a little bit wonky here and there because I've got a tight space to squeeze in. And first of all, I'm going to show you this focus. I think it's trying to focus on shadows. Yeah, foam core. Foam sandwiched between two pieces of card. Very simple. I buy this in bulk. I've gone for focus. Come on. I've gone for this stuff as I think that's going to do me the best for what I need him to do. Plus I have got tons of it. So we'll just shift that out of there. And the next sort of thing for materials is, well, before I start going over that, let's go back over to the foam core. Now, I'm using foam core for the main structures of my buildings. We'll discuss this in a little bit more detail later on, but that's what it's primarily used for. The next is plasticard. This is quite a thick sheet of plasticard, which I'll be using. Come on, focus. Right, I don't know why we're going all higgledy-piggledy with the focus right here. There's plenty of light going on, so not sure what's going on with the camera. Right. The next is foam, expanded polystyrene. Is this expanded? Yeah, expanded polystyrene. Basically I get it in these big sheets, like big massive thick sheets. Can't remember what it is. Is it 2 inches? I think it's 2 inch thickness, but we can check. I'll just have a little check here. 2¼ inch. 2¼ inch. 2¼ inch sheets, which is easy to cut, easy to work with. The next is also expanded polystyrene. This is called XPS foam. It's more commonly used, and it's more commonly used for underfloor laminate or hardwood, and you pretty much lay your floor over the top of this. This is great because this is only actually 6mm thick, and it's made of exactly the same stuff. It's nice and thin, and it gives a really good basing material. You can use it for main structures if you was to put something solid behind it, and then you can carve into it. Again, this is just another offcut. So we'll move these out of the way, and the next one we're going into is the blue expanded polystyrene, and this is 10mm thickness. Again, this has a load of variations for use. Mainly I'm going to be using this for building walls and sort of things that I need to pattern. So still relatively cheap as well. And the next is this stuff, which this is it's actually used for embroidery. It's just a mesh sheet, and you can make cool fences and stuff like that out of it. There is a reason why I've actually got this, which we'll be going over later. So there'll be a tutorial basically working on this. The next is a load of card. I've got all different types of card. This stuff is actually open gauged corrugated cardboard. I like this stuff in the actual A5 size sheets. The reason why I like it like that, because it has these grooves down the middle, and so if I'm doing corrugated roofs, when they're actually done, I actually have like an impression already in them to make it look like it's channeling for it. So I like that stuff. In there as well, we've got some thick black card as well, and we have some thick white card in there as well. So pretty much all of that stuff will get used in this project. So we'll put that one over there. The next is balsa wood. I'm going to bring this lot out first. This is the first lot of balsa wood that I've got, and the reason why is I'm going to be needing some really thick stuff. Some parts of this I'm going to be making columns and wall sections, so I'm going to be using quite a lot of this stuff. So I've got it in all the different variations of sizes. I do have quite a lot of it. I do realise and I do understand that balsa wood, even though it is a cheap material to use, when you start buying it in this thickness of gauge, it becomes pricey. Just wood in general, the thicker you go, the higher in price it gets. So we'll move that over to here, and then we'll go for the other sort of set that I've got here as well, which is the planks. As you can see, I'm still wrapped up in the thing. I actually have about 10 packs of this, and probably the whole lot will be used within this project. So I've got quite a decent amount of stuff to be using. You can see the sort of difference and variation of sizes that you get in this pack. This pack was relatively cheap. I think it cost me something like £6. At £6 plus VAT it was. But if you bought a pack of 10, it reduced it down to £5 per pack, and that included VAT, so bargain. Right, and another material we're going to be using lots of is this. Let's just put down here some of that. Some more. And there's some more, and there is actually 2 more blocks somewhere. Not sure where I've put them, but yeah, they'll all be getting used as well. So I'm going to be using quite a lot of that stuff, as you can see. We'll keep them over there. Okay, I'm not sure whether these count as materials or not, but I'm going to count them as materials because in like a building environment, because I used to be a joiner, all your consumables were classed as materials. So I'm going to be using a lot of this stuff as well. This is tacky glue. And I've been getting this stuff from Hobbycraft, right? The reason I've been getting this stuff from Hobbycraft is because I have been using... Wait a minute, I'm just going to get the other one. I have been using this. This is really, really good. Does exactly what it says on the tin. It's tacky and it's all-purpose glue. This is half the price, and I've done multiple tests. You can see on just how much of it I've actually used. There's probably like that much left. You can just see the marker there. And so I've used this a lot, and it's given just as good results as this one. Being at half the price, I bought it and I've been using it. I tested it, I used it, I liked it, I bought more. So I've got plenty of tacky glue going on, and I'll probably use pretty much all of that as well. So there's a lot of that. Right, concentrated green paint. This is concentrated green acrylic. And the reason why I've gone for this is because it needs to be watered down. There is, as you can see, there's half a litre white concentrated. And you can mix this down 5 parts water to 1 part green. And then it gives you pretty much what you would get as ready mixed poster paint. It is really, really thick, and I mean it is really, really thick. And it really does hold its pigment well when painting with it. It's not cheap, but it's good. And for that reason, that's the reason why I have it. So I've got quite a few of these. So we'll put that there. So again, with the same makes, we have my black and my white. Again, same sort of stuff. This can be diluted down to, I'm going to just say 5 for now, but I think it might be 10, because I'm pretty certain that 2.5 litres of this can make you 10 litres of paint. It's not cheap. This stuff is really not cheap, but if you work it out, between poster paint per litre to this per litre when after it's been mixed, it's a lot better value for money. But the just outset in the expense is more. The next stuff is we're going to be using this stuff, and I'll get another one just here. One strike filler. This is as light as it comes, filler wise, and it's absolutely fantastic stuff. It's really, really light, and it feels like candy floss. It really does. But it is an actual really good filler to use, and it actually smells like lemon too. So it's non-toxic. It's really good filler. It doesn't shrink. That's the main point. Will not shrink, will not crack. Dries in 30 minutes, and it really does dry in 30 minutes, sometimes even less. And it can be sanded, it can be sculpted. Really great stuff. Depending on where you get this from, you can pay anything between £1.75 a tub, right the way up to about £10 for one of these little tubs, depending on where you get it from. Right, and there is going to be a load more different other paints that we're going to be using. I'm not going to pull all of them out. The other ones that I am going to pull out are my chroma set, because we will be using all of these at some point. All of these will be getting used. These are metallics. Again, these you can push these through an airbrush. You have to dilute them, but you can push them through an airbrush, and it does go really good through an airbrush. The other ones we're going to be using is we're going to be using a lot of the Liquitex stuff. I've got quite a few of these ready for use. Just basic colours. I do have a yellow and a red, but they're not at hand. And we're going to be using like acrylic varnish as well. I've gone for the Humbrol stuff because it was all I could get at the time, and we're going to be using a whole variation of other paints. So yeah, basically materials wise, this is what we're going to be using. We're going to be using PVA glue, and we're going to be using a hot glue gun as well, with glue sticks. So that in itself is a material, but you know what that looks like, so there's no point in showing you that. And anything else which is obscure, I'll do a coverage of that sort of thing as I come to it. Obviously we're going to be using casting plaster. There's going to be a whole different set for that. The only last bit that I want to show you is this. Right, we need to shove these out of the way without them all falling over everywhere. The last bit I'm going to show you is this. These have been cast, these have been dried, and these are Herstart mould blocks. If anyone's ever seen any of these before, which I'm not sure if you have or you haven't, but you'll get the general idea when you see them now. They're really nicely detailed. As you can see there, they are phenomenally well detailed. I've got loads of different types of moulds of these. These are all cast in Herculite stone. I spent a long time moulding all these blocks up, and there's a big huge great box of these. I've roughly used about 25 kilograms of plaster in preparation for making all the bits. So we've got a lot of blocks to play with for this project. So you've pretty much seen a lot of them. There's a load of other different types of moulds as well. See if we can find anything that's like a little bit more. Floor stone there, which isn't going to show too well unless I put my hand behind it. There's a wee floor stone. So yeah, that's those. There is obviously loads of other different pieces in that. And that's the one good thing about Herculite stone, is if you drop it, it doesn't break or chip or crack. That just fell straight on the floor there, and there's no damage whatsoever. And it's really strong stuff, really strong, as you can see, like the pressure in my fingers, and that's not given anywhere. That's why I prefer Herculite stone to any other. So even when cast properly, even though it's like got a weak point here, it's not going to break until you put tons and tons of pressure on the actual cast, and that's actually taken me out of breath trying to snap that. So that gives you the sort of idea on just how strong that stuff is, and it's cheap too. Okay, there is another material that I did want to show you, but it comes in a massive huge sheet and I don't really want to pull it out, so until I actually get to a point where I'm going to use it, and that's extruded polystyrene. But we'll get to that bit when we actually come to actual making of the train. So let's just have a wee zoom back here. You can see all my lovely stuff that's kicking around. We will be using resin too, which is a material, and we will be using some of this at some point. Can you guess what that is? You get 10 points if you can tell me what this is. 10 virtual points. And I'll tell you what I might even do is I'm going to keep track on people that answer things. I'm going to pop out questions through my actual videos and things like that. And I'm going to run a little side competition. And the person with the most points at the end of it, I'm going to give away a little prize to. So bear that in mind. So this one's worth 10 points. I'm going to create a spreadsheet. If you can tell me what this is, I know there's definitely 2 people who can answer this already. But if you know what that is, you get 10 points. I'll give you 5 if you can half guess what it is. Right, with that said, take care guys, get ready for video 2.